It's been an amazing show so far, and we're coming down to the final stretch, the home stretch of WPPI. Our next presenter, Kiamarie Stone, is a decade-long international wedding photographer with a master's degree in teaching. Kiamarie is a true believer in community over competition and mastering your craft. It's a noble way to think, a beautiful way to think. She has photographed hundreds upon hundreds of weddings and photographed them only on Nikon equipment, which makes us love her even more. She's extremely talented and here today for us to present her program on natural light weddings. Let's get it right in camera. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiamarie Stone.
Yeah, I know. It's like mostly my friends. Oh no, where do I put my water? Hey, everybody. Thanks. So I'm Kiamarie. Welcome, everybody watching live at home in New Jersey. And I've been shooting weddings for 10 years, and I do natural light. Does anyone else here shoot weddings? Are we mostly weddings? Portraits? Babies? It doesn't really matter what you shoot. Always being able to find your light and know where your light source is coming from. Window light. Knowing where your light source is coming from is always going to make your pictures really pop. So anything that I do is 75% natural light. I absolutely have to use flash. I cannot say that I shoot weddings and I'm just natural light. I need to use flash at the ceremony because most of my couples choose the darkest ceremony spaces ever. And I do need to use flash. I use on camera and off camera at the receptions. But for the most part, when we walk into any wedding situation, we love natural light coming from the window. Doesn't matter where you are, we try to diffuse it in the front by using anything we possibly can. Right here, it could be like a windowsill. Sometimes I have my assistants use a diffuser, just wherever we can really bounce the light and get the light coming in. What I learned was when I shot my first wedding, I only made $300. And I technically didn't even take that home because I had to pay my second shooter and I had to provide my couples with a wedding album. So basically, my profit may have been $25 total. Can anyone else relate that you completely just undercharged? But what I found was the more that I learned lighting, learned to use my camera correctly, learned my lenses, the f-stop that I wanted, the picture that I even wanted to create, I was building a brand. And that's what helped me to advance more in my career. So really, it just took 5 little things. I needed to work a little harder. So that meant instead of me just putting my camera in auto and pointing my flash down and just shooting at everybody with direct flash and letting my camera think for me, I stopped doing that. I started putting my camera in manual. I started to play with my settings. I said, okay, if I put it at f4, what's this going to look like? If I put it at f2, what's this going to look like? And I kind of did like a little bit of a trial and error thing. I knew I needed to shoot with a pro body. That was a little bit hard in the beginning because I didn't have the money. I had, I don't even know, limited income because I wasn't there yet in my career. So I was renting cameras, but I was always renting a pro body. I started with a D90, nothing fancy. I don't even think it was full frame, actually. And then I moved up to the D610. And then eventually my friends at the photo center, hi guys, love you, they let me have a D4. And I was able to see the difference in my images. So I worked with my light. I stepped up my camera game. The next thing I did was I practiced. So I didn't do that with my couples because it wouldn't be fair to them. They were paying me to shoot their pictures, and I was great with that, with posing. But I practiced on whoever I could. My children, my puppy. It could be a wine bottle on a counter anywhere, just anything I could to manipulate that light. And then it became my lens selection. So when I first started shooting, my favorite lens was the 24-70. Who absolutely loves this lens? You can put it on and shoot an entire day, right? An entire wedding with a 24-70. Raise the hands if you guys are like that, right? 24-70 is the best lens out there. Okay, so what I was doing was an injustice to my photos because your lens selection is going to absolutely dictate the look of your images. If we look at the big Eric McVeigh, Jose Villa, they use one lens all day. And here I am with a 24-70. I'm zooming in, I'm zooming out, I'm going wide. I have such a range. How are my pictures going to look consistent? So my lens selection was the next thing that I had to work on. That means I had to build up my kit. I needed a 50, nifty 50. I needed an 85. I needed my favorite, the 105. I needed a 35. I mean, these are things that came with time because I definitely couldn't do it in the beginning. But I worked. So every wedding that I shot and I got a little bit of money, I put it towards the lens. I went without for a little bit. And then I needed to open up my aperture, which meant I was safe at like 4.0, 4.5, but I wasn't creative. So I pushed myself. Let's do 2.0. I'm still not that great at that, I'll admit that, but my sweet spot is 2.8. And then the biggest part and the most important when you're shooting with natural light is you have to look at your environment. You cannot walk in and be a ball of nerves at a wedding and the bride or groom or the couple or whoever you're working with say, oh, my details are over there, go shoot them. No, you have to move them. You have to find a window. You have to find a white wall. You have to find something that's going to complement the light so that when you're shooting, they're completely illuminated. Because if I'm at a hotel and there's a green carpet and brown walls, and she left the details over on the Chase Lounge, it's against the brown wall, I have no light. And then if I use my flash, I'm bouncing from brown walls. So that's doing my pictures an injustice. I have to move things. So taking control of your lighting situation and your environment is going to be really important too. So what started to happen over time was the more that I pushed myself, the better I got. The more that I had consistency in my pictures. I'm looking at the light, I'm looking at the environment, I'm moving things, I'm taking control, I'm choosing my lens correctly. What happened over time was I started to develop a brand. And that means that my pictures were more consistent. So you would go somewhere on Instagram, Facebook, social media, see somebody tagged, and you would know that's my picture because all of them started to look the same, which I was ecstatic about because my Instagram looks beautiful right now. But as time progressed, I saw that the more I pushed myself and the more intentional I was when I started shooting, my pictures started looking better. So when I walk into any situation, I'm always thinking, what do I need to get it right in camera? Because I do not like to edit. As much as everyone thinks we need to edit, we really don't. If you get things right in camera, you will get that, not courage, but you will feel confident that when your couple says to you, oh, can I see the back of your camera? And you're like, oh, no, man, I got to go home and edit that. Then I'll post a teaser. No, you want to show them. Look at your picture. Look how beautiful you look. Look how awesome this is. And I mean, I make my brides cry sometimes. But you need to think about all the little details that go into that. You need to find the right light. You need to expose for the light. You need to figure out the look you even want to create. You need to communicate with your clients, which is a big thing that I see a lot of photographers that I mentor, they don't do that. They think that the client is in control, and we are the ones that are in control. We are the ones that have to make that image that they're going to look at 10 years down the road and love still. And then you need to not overshoot. So how many of us take a picture and take at maybe 5 of the same thing? Okay. Why do we do that? Why do we Does anyone know? It's because we're in the digital age and we can, right? Oh, I'll just fill up a 64 gig card and change it. It's such an injustice we're doing to ourselves. You need to take a picture. Look at the back of your camera. See if it looks right. Take another one. Maybe adjust your settings a little bit. Take 2 more and move on. You should never have more than 2 or 3 images of one thing. Of your couple, of their details, of their, I don't know, the ceremony details, anything that you're taking a picture of, you need to not overshoot it. There's no reason for it. Because then what happens is you have all the other things in place, but now you've overshot so much. You're going home, you're culling, you're editing, you're sitting at your computer, you're missing out on rolling on the floor with your dog, you're missing out on your daughter's chorus concert, you're missing out on all these things because we're editing. We already drove an hour to the wedding, we drove an hour home, we shot for 10 hours, we're 12 hours into that. So who wants to come home and edit all those images? So you have to start thinking about all these things. You have to be super duper intentional. You have to find the light, expose for the light, know the look you want to create, communicate that with your clients, or if you have an assistant like I do now, tell them what you need to do to make that look right or help out, and then you need to not overshoot, and I can't stress that enough. I will look anywhere that I am. Here, the bride's feet were in the sand, and if I had it the other way, the scenery was beautiful, but I'm always looking for the light. So I see the light reflecting off the water. I put her there, and I just simply asked her, can you just turn? She turned. Here, my favorite spot in Las Vegas. Does anyone know go to the dry lake bed to shoot? We were there yesterday. My whole little crew right there. The dry lake bed. The light out there is perfect. Why I'm telling you about a beach and a dry lake bed is because no matter where you are, you're still doing the same things as when you're walking into the wedding. You're looking at the scenery, the location, the light, you're choosing your lens, and you're being intentional. Here we have a complete white, diffused, beautiful scenery landscape. And I didn't have to do much because no matter which way we turned the bride, she was kicked up and she was lit up and she was beautiful. My light here is off to the side. I had to have my bride move her horse. Did it suck? Absolutely, because it's really hard to position things. But I'm always, always, always thinking of my client's best interest. So what do I consider to be the ideal light for my photos? Who loves backlight? That's like my jam. I love the backlight. I don't care what it is. Of course, natural light. If you need flash, absolutely use it. I'm not going to tell you not to. You have to sometimes. Sometimes we have these dark situations and we have no control over it. So you need to learn how to use your flash as well on camera and off. But if you're shooting outside in natural light is beautiful. Overcast light is gorgeous because no matter which way you turn your couple, they're beautifully lit. I am a huge fan of backlighting because I think that when the sun is behind my subject, my couples, whatever it is I'm shooting, the light, when it just hits them and it outlines their face, or maybe my bride put $100 into her hair and it's now the light's like shimmying off her hair, or maybe my groom is going in to pull her in for a kiss and now the sun is like glowing around his hand. Backlight is my jam, and I can't say that enough. But bounce light as well. You can use a diffuser. You can put your clients by a wall. You can use a sidewalk. Ceilings sometimes are good for bouncing white light, and you don't even realize it because sometimes the sun shoots up in a window in the hotel when you're getting there. And then window light and light from other objects, which is like a mirror. So say you have a window and a mirror, the light shines in and it can shine back on your subject. But when you're walking into any situation, you have to just look at everything because everything is going to matter. Front light. Who's afraid of shooting at 1 or 2 o'clock because of the harsh light? Yeah, me too. But you know what? Sometimes you can use it to your advantage. Sometimes you don't even have control of that because a client or a couple says to you, oh, my ceremony's at 1. Well, yay, because that means it's going to be done at 2, and we're going to be going outside in the harshest light ever. But if you learn to just adjust things, move things, I just moved them over a little bit because there was like a rail here, and it gave me a little bit of shade. So now I'm okay with harsh front light, side light, right, Karina? Yep, side light. This drove me crazy because this was in harsh light from all different directions, so we had to move it. Same thing, moving it. We moved because the sun over here was setting off to the side on the mountains. So we illuminated the cake on the one side, but then we got beautiful bokeh coming through the trees. But how did I even get that bokeh? Does anyone know? I had to pick the right lens. A 24-70 would never give me those bokeh balls. If you don't know what bokeh is, it's just a little bit of the balls that are shooting through over there with the light. A 24-70 would never give me that. I need to use a 105. I need to use a 70-200. I need to use a 35. You need to use a lens that's going to give you a shallow depth of field where your subject is in the front, and then you're going to open up pretty wide on your aperture. So then once you find the light, I said this before, now what? The lens choices that I always use, I don't care where I go, wedding, my daughter's chorus concert, here out in Vegas. When I travel, my assistant and I are going to Dominican Republic soon for a wedding. 35, 50, 85, 105, or 135. Those are my lenses. I'm a prime lens shooter. If you haven't shot with prime lenses, do it. You are going to change your life. The Nikkor glass is like butter on toast, and it's warm with some jelly. I can't even express how much prime lenses will really make or break your photos. They work less. They don't work as hard as a 24-70 would, so your images are sharper. They are what is going to define my brand, is my lens choice. A wide aperture. Who's even comfortable at shooting at like 2.0 or 2.8? It's hard, right? So what I've learned is if I want to shoot at 2.8, if I mount my elbows to my chest and I take a breath and I fire, I'm good. I'm in focus. But if I'm rushing, I'm all over the place, and then my image is blurry. It's a disservice. So you have to just calm, take a breath, think, shoot. A low ISO. So my sweet spot is always 200. I will adjust my shutter before I adjust my ISO. If you start pushing your ISO up, and we can, because we shoot Nikon cameras, we can go to 10,000 if we really want to. But if you start pushing up your ISO, you're losing important detail. A lot of photographers will say to me, you blow out your whites. I do, I don't care. I'll blow out my whites all day, every day. But you'll see all the detail on my bride's dresses or their veils or the rose gold ring she has. Because the ISO, who says ISO? ISO, I don't know. That is what's going to determine the detail that you're going to get in your picture. And when you do edit it and you pull it into your histogram in Lightroom and you have that hill of a bump, you know you're at the right ISO. And then shooting in full manual mode. Some people like aperture priority, and that's fine too. But me, I like to have full control of my camera, so I will put it in manual mode. I think the one thing that I try to teach the most is that it doesn't matter what picture you take. It doesn't matter how you take it. What really is going to matter is how you think about what you're going to do in the moment, afterwards, how you're going to approach it. You have to read everything. If you don't like something, you have to move it. If something doesn't make you comfortable, you have to tell your clients. My professional opinion is that we should do X, Y, Z. If you know something's not going to work, you have to tell them. These dresses, the bride had them on a window. I mean, a window shot with a dress is just not pretty. I mean, it's not creative. We were in a beautiful library. Yeah, it was 2 floors down, but let's just all move the dresses. Everything you do, the way you arrange your invitations. Yes, put it by a beautiful light, but think about it. Do I want the light to come in this way? Do I want the light to come in this way? The menus on the plates, same thing. It's not a person, but to me, I have to figure out the best lighting for it because I want them to remember that detail of their day. And positioning, backlighting, moving them to a sidewalk, moving them to a window, moving them to a white wall, moving them to open shade, asking them to take 2 feet forward, take 2 steps so that they're not completely in that shade, but they're maybe at the edge of it. Moving them to, like, this is my favorite. So I always have couples that want to take a picture by, what's that called? The things in parks where you go in and, a gazebo, right. I hate gazebo shots. I hate them because the gazebo inside is dark, right? And everything around it is a complete hotspot of pandemonium mess. But all my couples want a shot in a gazebo. I don't know why. I will not do it. And I will tell them, no, I'm sorry. The gazebo is beautiful, but it's not happening because there's no way I'm going to get a great shot of my couples inside that dark gazebo. I can push my ISO up, and now we have a yucky picture. And then whatever it is she's doing, pulling him in for a kiss, I'm not going to really see that because if she puts her hands on his chin, now he's even darker. So you have to just think about what it is you want to do and where's the light and how to find it. And it's okay to say no to people. It's okay to say, no, we're not doing the gazebo shot. But I see a really pretty place right over there with perfect light, some flowers, some tall grass. How about we go over there? Yes, let's do that. And then overcast light. Love it, doesn't matter what time of day, 10 a.m., 10 p.m., no, well, 10 p.m. there's no light, but 5 p.m. overcast is perfect. This is in my assistant's office. Hey, Jess. And she has beautiful white walls, beautiful light coming in, and that building is dark. But if we put things in the perfect position, we're lit perfectly. Ring. You don't need to take thousands of years to figure out your speed light setting in manual mode or to pop out your video light these are all things that we just shouldn't have time or be fumbling with. We don't have time to do it on the wedding day. Buy a window. That's it. 2 seconds. 2.0. Some of you guys shoot it at f11, f22. I do 2.0. That's my sweet spot. Harsh light. This is my favorite picture, by the way. This is right by our house. Harsh light, where your couple and their bridal party, they want to go on this, but it's in direct sun. Like, you can't go on the other side because it's weird and it's not going to capture their excitement and their joy. So you have to figure out, what do I need to do? And while they're all, yay, and getting ready and excited to go on, you're working with your settings. So I had to do this picture like a few times, but once I got it right, it was perfect. And and it really wasn't anything different than me finding the window light. I just had to move and shoot and figure out which lighting scenario was the best, where I could get that whole swing lit and then get my couple's excitement as well. Backlight. I love it. It's just so pretty. I don't really have much more to say about that than that. Here, my girls are in front of a sidewalk because just light coming up, shining up. I don't really care about the backgrounds. If you guys, you love your architecture and you love the landscapes, I don't care about that stuff. I've picked 3 words. My words are fresh, romantic, and whimsical. So that means I care about my clients' interaction with each other. But I do have them by a sidewalk, so I can capture my fresh, romantic, whimsical photo. Same thing by the sidewalk. I really don't move them. Once I get them to find good light, I leave them there. Leave them there. Leave them there. Why move them, right? We got perfect light. We can just rearrange them. Let's add in some of the bridal party members now, right? Hey, guys, come on over. Mushroom house looks great. Don't even have to do anything because it's already front lit. Sorry, I went by that one a little bit fast. But you're always just looking for the light. It doesn't matter where it is. When people come to me to mentor, they're always asking me the same thing. What's your settings? I always get that. What's your settings? What's your settings? What's your settings? And you're really never going to learn how to shoot like somebody else. And you really shouldn't. You should want to be your own artist. You should want to do things the way you see it. You may love the way I shoot. You may not. You may love the way Jerry shoots. Jonas, he's amazing, but his style is not mine. You want to learn how to shoot so that people love you. so that people hire you, so that the way you're using light or doing things in camera and getting them excited and showing them the back of your camera, and they're like, oh my God, that looks great already, and they fall in love with you. You don't even have to do much because they're raving about you. You want to become your own artist. In order to do that, you do need to do a few things. You need to be inspired by others. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't want to be like someone else. Be yourself. Be inspired, though. Learn from people in the industry who shoot in a style that is similar to what you want to create. Offer to assist local photographers. I have people that message me out of the blue all the time. I have more third assistants and interns and assistants than I know what to do with. But I love them all because they have that hunger to learn. And I should have done that. Instead of experimenting the way I did to learn how to get it right or to learn how to shoot natural light, I should have assisted, but I didn't have that opportunity when I started. But you should. You should attend workshops. Look what Nikon's doing, right? They have all these great speakers, and it's free. You just get to sit here, watch me be nervous, and you get to learn how to shoot natural light, right? But attending these workshops, talking to your peers. You don't even know, you two sitting next to each other, you two, you might both want to be natural light wedding photographers and have tips to share with each other. Go get a drink, make friends, go get something to eat. Because you guys are taught, we are creatives, we're artists. We all love the same thing, so we should share it with one another. We should connect on Instagram. You might love their pictures, and you might be able to ask him, how'd you do that? Without having to stop me and feel intimidated. So talk to others. Hire a mentor. If you have the money, you have it in your budget, do it. I strongly suggest you hire a mentor. They will tell you all the things they've done wrong, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. They will tell you all the things they've done right, so you can try and copy that to the best of your ability. And they will help you grow a lot. And then follow people you love on social media. You guys are so amazingly blessed that you are in this day and age where we have social media. When I first started, I'm aging myself right now, but there was no internet. There was no Facebook. There was no Instagram. There wasn't like a direct message of, hey, can I shoot for you? There was none of that. And I didn't have anyone that I could turn to ask questions to, and now we do, and social media is the absolute best and greatest way that you can connect with people that you love and learn from them. I shot a workshop yesterday in the desert. I had our #1 planner in the country style it for me. Does she know me personally? Absolutely not, but I messaged her on Instagram. We got to talking. Now I love her. We all went out last night. But she would have never even known who I was if I didn't reach out to her. So do that. Use your social media to your best ability. Don't spray and pray. All of you, can we all say that together? Don't spray and pray. Do not overshoot. Shoot what you need to shoot. Get it done. Move on. How many? 2 to 3 shots per shot and leave. Shoot with intention. Know what you want. Don't just walk in and take pictures. Know what you want to shoot. Try to shoot film. Does anyone ever shoot film? Me. Because if you really want to learn light, film is the way to go. My Nikon F100 is a film camera. It's a 35 millimeter, and that little thing is my absolute favorite camera. I take that camera everywhere. 35 millimeter film is not expensive. The guys here will tell you the F100 is the way to go. And if you really want to get great, perfect your ISO settings, knowing how to use light to your best ability, you will shoot film. Because film is going to teach you a whole different world than what digital has. Learn to shoot in Kelvin. Who even knows what Kelvin is? Do we know what Kelvin is? Try it. Take your camera out of auto white balance and try to shoot in Kelvin. Invest in a full frame camera. This is something even I couldn't do. 4 years in is when I was able to do that. Learn how to connect with your clients. They're our #1 reason we're doing this anyway, right? So you have to talk to them. You have to connect with them. You have to understand them. You have to know that even though you're walking in, and I've shot almost 1,000 weddings, you have to know that when you're walking in and you've shot 1,000 weddings, it's their first. So it's the most important day to them. And then most importantly, shoot in RAW. Who's not shooting in RAW? You should be. I have to get off soon, and this was so great. I could stay up here all day and talk. I want to just tell you guys that my mom recently passed, and I miss her dearly, and she would have been front and center. She always told me one piece of advice, and I take it with me no matter what I do in life. It's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. And I follow that in everything that I do, even with my photography. I learn every single lighting situation. I know when I walk in somewhere and I have 5 minutes, what I need to set my camera to, because I've already done it a million times before. So everything that you do, it's better to know how to do it. So when you have that client that calls and says, I want to book your top collection and my wedding's at 1 o'clock. You don't refuse it because it's 1 o'clock harsh sun. You take it because you know how to do it, because you've been there before. And you need to find your own motto and live by that every day. But I have to go. My little buzzer's beeping. I had such a great time up here. I know I was supposed to do like a little Q&A for you guys. If you have any questions, I'm going to hang out for a little bit. And I hope you guys get out there and shoot. The most important thing to go through anything with our photography businesses is be kind, be understanding, be intentional, and you do not have to be the best photographer in the world. I'm not the best photographer. Nobody is the best photographer. There's always room to grow. But if you do what you do properly and you're kind to people, they will talk about you and they will love you because you're the best photographer for them. Does that make sense? Perfect. All right, guys, I'm done. Thank you so much. I had such a good time. Hi, guys at the photo center. Love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kiamarie Stone. Up next, Jade Alakija steps towards the iconic moment at 1:15 right here at the Nikon Theater.